Visa was forced to address this, according to Asmongold. Um, this is really fascinating shit, and we need to get everybody talking about this.
Visa has finally responded, and they are having a very bad time. There has been a massive backlash to the removal of certain video games, and as I looked at earlier, these video games did not stop with incest and rape games like they said they would. They've also included games like mouthwashing as well. Mouthwashing is
Hold up. I need to see if there's an echo.
Pretty high.
I guess my mic was off. California. Okay, we should be good. Let's continue. Sorry.
probably one of the best psychological horror narrative games that I've ever played. It is an amazing game. I would 100% recommend playing it, and they had no business and no reason to ban this at all. Finally, Visa is receiving pushback for this.
Thank God.
I think people need to keep going until they totally change their perspective. And I think that more than that, people need to be contacting representatives and lawmakers to make sure that this type of cartel that they're running isn't possible.
Imagine trying to buy a game on Steam only to find...
That's what it is. It's a cartel, straight up. And he called this shit. He said once they get some games taken down, they're going to get more taken down. It's not going to stop at grapes and PDFs type of games. They're just going to continue. It's going to get worse.
Out it's banished. Not because it's illegal, but because Visa and Mastercard decided you can't buy it.
Because they're trying to create their own pseudo government. They want to decide what's illegal and what's not.
Last few weeks, tens of thousands of games have been removed from both Steam and itch.io, and it's all due to pressure from payment processors. This isn't just about a few controversial titles. It's affecting everything from small indie projects to mature but otherwise legal games. It's a new reality where gamers no longer get to decide what they can buy. But gamers aren't just sitting...
And nobody that is even related to a gamer is. A collective amount of annoying Karens are deciding it that live in Australia. So you're basically at the mercy of the 100 most annoying women in the world. Think about how terrifying that is. You are at their mercy as a video game player.
How they have that much power, nobody knows.
There are reports of a mass campaign.
Absolutely insane how much power they have.
Operation Fighting Fire with Fire. Their goal? To bombard Mastercard and Visa with calls and emails, mirroring the tactics used by groups like Collective Shout.
This is what people have to do. You have to respond and you have to play their game. Because we have to show these companies that these Karens are such a tiny, like, fucking microscopic minority of people that they don't represent the average customer.
Yeah, there's way more of us than them, I'll tell you that right now.
They don't represent the average person. They are an interest group that's trying to weaponize their viewpoints and create a false majority. Gamers need to rise up.
Initially targeted Steam. Collective Shout claimed victory with around 1,000 emails, and gamers believe they can collectively shout much, much louder. Simply letting Mastercard and Visa know, hey, these games we want to buy are legal. Let us spend our money. So, as gamers express their frustration, Visa has responded to multiple emails with what appears to be a copy-paste response.
Of course it is.
Seen multiple different emails, but they all had the exact same reply. So let's see what Visa has to say about the situation. Thank you for reaching out and sharing your perspective. As a global company, we follow the laws and regulations everywhere we do business. This sounds fair. Visa says they follow the law. Obviously,
I think that any company has to follow the law. It doesn't matter what your TOS is. It doesn't matter what your company, mission statement is. It doesn't matter what your values are. If you want to do business in a country, you have to follow the laws in that country with no restrictions and no ifs, ands, or buts. There's literally like no room for a company to say like, well, we're not going to follow the law because we don't want to.
Well, yeah, no shit, but the games are legal. That's where everybody's confused.
Of course not.
If something is illegal, that is its own situation, and I would agree that it should be banned from Steam. But these games we are talking about are legal,
Yes.
which is the problem.
Yeah.
While we explicitly prohibit illegal activity on our network, we are equally committed to protecting legal commerce. If a transaction is legal, our policy is to process the transaction. We do not make moral judgments on legal purchases made by consumers.
We need one gamer congressman to pull the CEO or a representative of Visa up and to have them say this on record, and then we need to look into this because I think they're lying. JD Vance.
This is weird. If a transaction is legal, our policy is to process the transaction. We do not make moral judgments on legal purchases made by consumers.
I don't know, man. Like JD Vance, like he's he's already got the couch allegations. I don't know if he's gonna go to bat for Coomers. I don't know if he's gonna be our guy for that. Okay, because of the whole sofa thing.
This is a very strong statement. Visa claims they don't judge what people buy if it's legal. And if a purchase is legal, they process it. This sounds great.
It's a
This
lie.
is what you would assume a payment processor would
They're
do.
lying.
But if you have been paying attention at all to the
Yeah, they're
situation,
lying.
you would know this is simply not true. From games to crypto, guns, anime, porn, even energy companies, and so much more. But back to Visa's statement. If they don't make moral judgments, what does that even mean? It means they claim they don't care if content is adult, violent, or controversial as long as it's legal. They say their job isn't to decide what's right or wrong morally, but just to make sure
Then why did you
money
take
moves
him
for
down?
legal products.
That's
so they are
right.
saying one thing, but then doing the exact
Exactly.
opposite. Visa continues in the email. Visa does not moderate content sold by merchants, nor do we have visibility into the specific goods or services.
Then why do they have all that shit in Japan? What's going on with that?
sold when we process a transaction. This claim is also
That's
very
crazy.
clear. Visa says they don't look at the content being sold. Visa and Mastercard are intertwined in so many businesses around the world, you can't actually expect them to go through every single one to review and moderate everything.
No, they
Visa
don't do it ahead of time. They do it, but if people complain about it, they'll go back and do it. It's obvious.
also says they don't see what's being sold when money moves. So if they don't see the content, how do they know if something is quote-unquote risky? Well, they rely on reports from banks themselves, complaints from the public, or even activist groups to flag a merchant as risky. So Visa won't look at every single game, but if a platform like Steam has a lot of content that's getting complaints, Visa
Well,
can
how could
view
something be risky? It's either illegal or it's not.
the entire platform
What does risky
as a
even
risk,
mean?
which is how Collective Shout were able to get Visa and MasterCard to listen to them. By painting Steam and itch.io as this very bad place, asking them to demonstrate corporate social responsibility and immediately cease processing payments.
Yeah.
But Visa
Yep.
continues in their email. When a legally operating merchant faces an elevated risk of illegal activity, we require enhanced safeguards for the bank supporting those merchants. The last part is key. Visa says if a store has a high risk of illegal activity, they make the banks working with that store take extra steps to be safe. But notice they don't say the content is illegal, just that
This
they're-
is an abstract, amorphous, opaque statement that could mean any number of things. And it's intentionally vague so they can control the narrative and not have to define it.
Oh my god,
That's what they're
crazy.
doing.
there's a risk.
This is fucking scary, dude. This has to get stopped, like ASAP. Look in your... There's a petition, in my state anyway, to where it bans uh, purchases from being stopped if it's legal. So look in your laws and states too, see if there's any petitions you can sign.
Of it.
Obviously.
Visa claims that they do not make moral judgments on legal purchases and do not moderate content. But let's compare that to what Valve and itch.io actually said about the recent changes. In classic Valve fashion, they were quiet on the issue.
Yeah, they don't talk
but the
about
only
this shit.
official information we have from them is the new rule change and an official worded response they gave out to multiple different journalists. In their response, Valve hinted heavily that payment processors were threatening to cut them off. They stated they had to retire certain games because losing payment methods would prevent customers from buying any
They also charge high risk rates for high chargeback rates too. Yeah. And so this is another thing that they hide behind. This is actually a really good point you're bringing up, because I know where this conversation is going to go, and I'm going to stop it before it even goes there. The idea that they're only doing it because this type of adult content has a high chargeback rate, how much do you want to bet if you did an investigation into what they were doing, you would find out that that's not true? I bet there are tons of things that have very high chargeback rates that they allow. So if chargeback rate is the only metric of decision making, you would assume that there is a threshold that anything that reaches that chargeback rate threshold is then subject to these different rules. Is that the way that Visa operates? Probably not.
titles on Steam. This made it clear that Steam was now at the mercy of these payment processors, despite Valve's usual hands-off approach to legal content. itch.io was even more direct. They flat out stated they changed their rules because payment companies threatened to block all payments on their platform. So if Visa isn't making moral judgments or moderating content, why were these threats happening over legal material? Is Visa...
Because it's bullshit.
How would that happen? What a fucking mystery. Who knows?
It's insane.
Nobody knows.
So implying Steam and itch.io are lying? Well, the answer is in one vague word: risk. Visa states they require enhanced safeguards when there is an elevated risk of illegal activity. But risk is a broad term. Often, it's not actually about illegal content, but about anything that might generate bad press or public protest.
Exactly. Brand risk.
This gives power to groups like Collective Shout. They sent numerous emails, made phone calls, and ran public campaigns painting Steam.
And it's like you can see how the double speak here is that we don't moderate the morality of stuff, but we do watch out for things that are brand risks. Well, yeah, but what happens whenever the brand risk happens because of the moral positioning of it? Well, I mean, you just it's a self-invalidating argument.
itch.io as risky
Got away with
places,
it? Yeah, they are.
urging these payment processors to cease business, which obviously led into them then pressuring Valve. These payment processors hold all this power because almost everyone uses their cards. So when they label a platform as risky, which often just means enough people complained, they can directly threaten that platform with losing access to their entire payment network. This
Is there not another processor Steam could go through? It has to be Visa, Mastercard. Pay. I mean, I guess it makes sense. It has to be. Oh, sorry. I'm grabbing a drink. And I think it's PayPal too, isn't it? PayPal, Visa, Mastercard. Oh, man, dude. When I first heard about that mouthwashing shit today at work, I was legit pissed, bro. I don't usually get pissed about gaming stuff like this, but I was like, okay, whatever. They took off some adult shit. Whatever. And then my worst fear happened. They kept moving. They kept attacking. They took off a game that doesn't even have adult content. Like, it has some hints towards stuff, but it's nothing extreme. It's just a mouthwashing game, bro. Who gives a shit? This fucking shit is pissing me off, bro. Like, it feels like we have no power right now, but we do, man. We have some fucking power. Okay? And let's not sit back and watch this. Let's actually do something about it, man. Let's do something about it, man. For real. Make a comment on my YouTube and I don't know, just type I'm in or something, and then we'll just conversate on ideas we could do. I'll try to find some petitions and shit. Like, I'm just gonna research some more, and you guys need to too, man. We all need to work together on this. Fucking spam the shit out of Visa, Mastercard. The stupid ladies in Australia. Let's get it. Let's get their contact info and do something. I don't know. We'll figure it out, man. We can't let this happen. We just
Also,
can't.
isn't just about Steam and itch.io either. We've seen similar problems in Japan, where businesses selling certain types of legal adult content have lost payment options from companies like Visa, often under the same.
Japan just needs to say, listen, if you want to do business here, you can't do this anymore. I don't know why they don't do that. I mean, Visa and Mastercard will immediately capitulate, especially if they do it to one of them. Like, this is what I would do. If I was Japan, I would do it to only Visa and only Mastercard. So that way it's like you either risk losing your entire market share here or you have to follow the rules. And as soon as you get them to follow the rules, then you do it to the other one.
Umbrella. Even Visa's CEO in Japan has been vocally against.
I don't know why. Like, again, like, yeah, use Visa as an example. Yeah, this is a very easy problem to solve.
Content. This shows a clear pattern. Payment processors, despite their claims, directly influence what can be sold.
In order to change behavior, all you have to find out is why behavior occurs. If you can figure out why behavior occurs, you can change behavior. If you can't find out why a person is doing something, then you're fucked.
Decide a business is risky, even for legal content,
control,
they can effectively shut down that business's ability to operate. So this email from Visa is a clear example of a big company saying one thing, while their actions and the statements of the platforms they work with show something completely different.
Yeah, they're lying.
Now, it's also important to remember, as this video did have a focus on Visa, there are other payment processors involved as well.
Mastercard and PayPal are also very big bad actors. There's been a number of guys that have tried to reach out to me. I don't know if I'm going to have them on the stream or talk to them at all. But, like, for example, one of the guys, I think the guy that runs, like, Kiwi Farms said that he had issues with this, too. And then I think Dick Masterson said that he...
Kiwi Farms. That sounds familiar. I know I've heard that name before.
He had it. It's actually, that's his name. I'm being serious. Said he had issues with this also. And I thought about maybe bringing them on. Like, obviously... Like, I can't go as far to bring Nick on, right? But, like, we all know, if anybody knows anything about Nick, we know that he's been debanked as well. This is a massive issue.
There are some reports from people calling Mastercard that issues have escalated to a higher department, as they have been getting calls about this all week. Whether Mastercard's higher department...
Oh, that's awesome. We gotta bug the shit out of them, dude. For real.
Actually does something is a different question that we will just have to wait to see.
Well, you just keep putting pressure on them until they do something. You have to understand that, like, their incentive is they're worried about brand damage. And the reason why they're worried about brand damage is they're worried about brand damage leading to a loss in revenue. So how do you solve that problem? You solve that problem by creating a situation where they will lose revenue or their brand will be damaged if they don't do what you want. That's how you create an outcome, and you create an apparatus that can make them behave in a way that you want. It's pretty simple.
Behind-the-scene details of what happened between payment processors and Steam are unknown. One thing is clear. Visa claims of no moral judgments don't match reality. They use vague terms like risk to deflect responsibility while controlling what content is bought and sold. This situation...
Well, an elevated risk of illegal activity. What does that even mean?
Nobody knows, bro.
I mean, for example, PayPal doesn't verify the reason why you're doing a transaction. I bet there's probably illegal PayPal transactions that happen constantly. And also, like, if the company is doing something that's illegal, then why aren't they getting arrested in the first place? Why is the company itself not getting arrested? just
makes
bullshit.
one
Yeah.
thing very clear. Payment companies like Visa and Mastercard have huge unchecked power.
They do.
They shouldn't be allowed to dictate what legal content can be bought or sold online simply by labeling it risky. Because
I think that if they want to do that, and they want to act like editors, then I think the government should hold them accountable for illegal transactions that happen on their platform. So if you want to take accountability for and control the transactions that are happening on your platform, sounds great. Okay, well, the next time there's an illegal transaction, you're going to get charged for it. And that would last for 1 hour.
I see where he's going.
That'd be it.
really is risky. This unchecked power must be challenged. Payment processors, with their monopoly on transactions, operate as essential services, like electricity or water. They should be forced to provide fair access to all legal purchases.
And you can see how this is happening more and more every single year, that you have people that have certain agendas or viewpoints or worldviews that try to take control of essential services like payment processing or like ISPs or even like social media or any sort of banking, and they try to weaponize those things to fit their goals and their worldview. This is something that's been happening, and it's something that will always happen because people that desire power will go after power, and these things are powerful. So this is something that you have to always maintain vigilance with, because it will continue to happen indefinitely. For as long as there are people, this problem will exist. And the issue right now isn't that the problem is existing, it's that it's being allowed to continue to exist.
Something hopefully we see happen.
These ladies that starting this collective shell, they don't know how crazy gamers are, bro. I have no idea. Obviously. Usually when we fight back, we usually win. There's too many of us. This is our passion, our love. Me, personally, if I didn't have video games in my life, I'd probably be dead. It saved me. I turned from alcohol to gaming, and my life's been better since. And I love gaming for it. There's probably a lot of people with similar experiences. Just like how music saves people sometimes. Gaming is my savior, dude. I'm 40 years old. I'm not afraid to admit it. I don't give a fuck. But anyway, they they have no idea what they're barking up against, man. They're about to find out, though. Some FAFO on their asses.
In the future. That's why collective action is so important. From calling and emailing Visa and Mastercard directly to supporting policies like the Fair Access to Banking Act, gamers are making their voices heard. They're now telling elected officials that these powerful companies are overstepping by blocking legal.
We need to make gamers the new political party. Fuck the America Party. Fuck the Democrats. Fuck the Republicans. We need the gamer party.
Purchases. There are petitions already with over 100,000 signatures. And
all positions, all values, all campaign promises are in service of allowing people to stay home and sit on the computer and do whatever they want without getting fucked with. That is the dream, that is the vision, and everything works in service of that.
You think it's bad here? Look at what UK's doing. They can't even watch Corn anymore. That's just fucking crazy, man. What's up with all this?
And I'm sure it will only grow as gamers start to realize how bad this problem really is. So what do you think about Visa's email? Do you think Steam and itch.io removed tens of thousands of games just because they wanted to and then blamed it on payment processors for no reason?
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, if that's what happened, Visa and Mastercard should sue them.
Thing is clear. Gamers
For
aren't
lying
accepting this
about them.
response, and they want payment processors to stop deciding what content can be sold.
I totally fucking agree with this. This is the second video from what I don't know why I didn't subscribe to him the first time I saw his video. This is the second video he's made. Water
CS2 is the original video of this. If you want to go check it out. And I'm on Asmongold's channel right now, so go give them all a like. I just wanted to watch this with you guys, and I don't know, man. This is very scary. Scary. It's wrong in so many ways. I'm gonna try to do more digging and see, if there's anything we could do. He said something about petitions, so let's look around for that. And if any of y'all watching have any leads, please comment. I'd appreciate it. Any links I could get. I'm a very small YouTuber, so I definitely don't have that much power. But if I could do anything at all to help, I'd be more than happy. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been fun.